Welcome to Faith and Politics with me, Eileen. Hey, y'all. Welcome to Faith and Politics with me, Eileen. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Oh, I got that right because usually I say good afternoon or good morning or something because I used to have a radio show in the morning. Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to Faith and Politics with me, Eileen. We are here on December 16th, 2025. 25 is almost over. Can y'all believe it? I cannot. We are here live on Instagram, TikTok, Podbean, and YouTube. So, welcome to all those platforms. If you are not subscribed to me on YouTube, please do that. That is at Faith and Politics, at Faith and Politics. If you want to follow me on my social platforms, it's at Eileen _Carter, Eileen _Carter. And this is Faith and Politics, and I am your host. So, today we have a great show for you. But of course, I say that for each and every show that I think we have a great show for you. We're going to talk about discovering your why and knowing your why, aligning your life with your why. I've been dealing with some small businesses, and that's like part of what I do with them. And so it was just kind of a bridge to what's going on just in life right now, because a lot of people do some recaps at the end of the year. And so I just wanted to know what was your why and why are you doing what you're doing? Do you have a purpose? What is that purpose? We're going to give an update on the road work in New Orleans, and we're also going to give an update on the electrical grid in New Orleans. Y'all know we have our outages. Y'all know how long we were out of electricity after Katrina and Ida, both on August 29th. So we had those unfortunate reminders, but we're going to get a quick update on the roadwork and electrical grid. We're also going to talk about public works and their staffing shortages, because we know how the roadwork has been ridiculous in the city of New Orleans for the past 6 years at least. And y'all, it doesn't look like we're getting out of it anytime soon. I know we thought that we were. I know the mayor-elect had promised some things, but they are not coming to fruition. And we're also going to talk about some small business tips. I was having some conversations with some small businesses, and I've really been listening to each and every one of you as you have been commenting throughout these past couple of weeks where we talk here on Faith and Politics. So number one, I want to thank you for doing that. And what I've done is I've compiled some tips, and I'm also working on some fun stuff for y'all. So get ready, get ready, get ready. I can't tell you exactly what it is, but I do have some stuff in the works, and I really think it's going to be helping our small business community in the city of New Orleans. And last but not least, we do have a book giveaway today. We have a book giveaway, so I want to thank Mr. Bailey for sponsoring 2 book giveaways. So we have one today on Tuesday, clearly, and we have another book giveaway on Thursday. So this is mine. Don't think I'm giving away mine. This is mine, but this is the book that we're giving away. So I will make sure that whoever answers the fun question later gets the book. Because now is a really interesting time where I really believe that we need it more than ever. That's the crazy part. I had to open back my book because that was to my question, my trivia question. I was like, oh, I missed the page. But anyway, let's jump into the show, or actually, let me jump into some information. So, of course, this is Faith and Politics with me, Eileen. If you ever miss a show, you can listen anytime on Apple, YouTube, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon Music, Podbean, Player, FM, Listen Notes, Podchaser, and of course, Boomplay. And I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. If you wanted to sponsor, partner, or if you had any community solutions, please DM me. Please email me at faithandpolitics504 at gmail.com. That is faithandpolitics504 at gmail.com. And of course, you can always give me a call. Carter Business Development is going to be coming back with some small business things. And so if you do need some business help, or you're looking for a leg up, some strategic development, I had worked with some more medium to larger size businesses, but I wanted to really do some more small business development things. I really enjoy small businesses, and I really believe that they're going to be what brings back the city of New Orleans. And so I want to make sure that everybody has the tools in their toolkit so that we can all, create a better society, but as well as a foundation for each and every one of our families. And so going into that, my question would be to each and every listener would be, what is your why? Why do you do what you do? why do you work where you work, and why do you believe what you believe. This is faith in politics, so I do give a little faith to it, and I will share a short testimony just to kind of pique your thought process and start your wheels turning. So I don't even know how long ago this is. I mean, I've been on my spiritual journey, well, since birth. I mean, God was always doing stuff with me. But there was at a point where I was like, why do I believe what I believe? Do I believe it because I believe it, or do I believe it because I grew up in a family where this is what they told me what to do? Uh, and so I really kind of figured out that some of the things I believe because I grew up in a family and that's what they told me, this is what's right or this is what's wrong. And I never really questioned anything. And I think a lot of people grow up in those situations where, you grow up and all of these people like bigger than you. And so they must be correct about everything in life. And so as you grow up and mature, you realize that everyone around you is not, correct in everything. And so I just want to throw that out there for you to really delve into why you believe the things that you believe and why do you do the things that you do, both in the aspect of faith and in business. And I say that because in faith, like I told you all, I was a Catholic. I'm not a Catholic anymore. I got saved and baptized. I do my walk out of the Bible. I'm non-denominational because Jesus was not denominational. And I think that if we all follow this and join together, we should unite under one, Christian heading and stop having all the divisions. I think we'd be a lot stronger if we all played by the same rules, which is what God gave us, and stop making our own rules and stop putting our own opinions in the Bible, because God didn't ask us for our opinion when he made the Bible. And so with that, and being a Catholic, at that point in my life, I started to question certain things that they taught us. And this isn't going anything against the Catholic faith, because I believe you can have a relationship with Jesus, in you can have a relationship with Jesus, but I do believe that they do share certain things that do not connect with my belief system now. So this is me. I'm not talking about anybody else. This is me. And it's funny because it goes back to my birthday. My birthday is November 1st. And so it is All Saints Day. And so there's a lot of, everybody is interested in their birthday, right? You go look up your date or what happened on your birthday, and people do like that, things like that throughout their life. Well, in the Catholic Church, you are taught to pray to saints. And so in my journey, I was, reading into, these saints and things like that. You grow up and believing all of these things. And I had never really read the Bible for myself. Growing up in the Catholic Church, you're giving like pistolets or whatever they're called. Pistolets, no, that's the bread. You're given these little books with readings every week, and blah 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 blah. And now you may have gone to a church where they explained, or y'all had Bible study. I did not do that. And so when I started picking up my Bible and reading it, especially in the New Testament, everyone, like the book of Ephesians, the book of Romans, the Corinthians, like all of them were like these letters to the Corinthians, these letters to the Romans, the letters to whatever. And they said the letters to the saints. And I'm like, the letters to the saints? How can you write a letter to people who are dead, right? Okay, well, that was my thought process because I was coming out of Catholicism at that point. And then I realized, wait, they're writing letters to people who are alive. So the saints aren't dead. The saints are alive. We are the saints. They're talking to believers in the way, believer in Jesus Christ. And so when I was going through this stuff, I was just like, oh my gosh. And so I say all that to say, what do you believe in? Not what your family put in front of you, not what somebody told you need to believe, not what you grew up in. Have you ever really tested what you believed in? Because once I did that, my life really truly began to change, and honestly, for the better. I have so much freedom of thought, and in different aspects of my life. It's really a blessing. And so I just offer that to each and every one of you as to what do you believe in. Start thinking about it, especially at the end of the year, where a lot of stuff is winding down. People may not have as much work to do or as much on their plate per se, other than some family gatherings. But I really challenge each and every one of you to really understand your why do you do things. And here's a little fun example. When I was on the radio, this is an example that someone gave me for something else, and I want to offer it to you as to. And it was a fun example. It was during Thanksgiving, and so now that we're having these holidays with families, I think this is a fun example because a lot of people have people at their house, and you have family traditions and things that you do. Do you even know why you do the traditions that you do. So long story short, they were cooking, I believe it was a ham, but I don't eat ham anymore, y'all. I don't eat pork. But they were cooking, let's just say a piece of meat. Let's say it's a roast. They were cooking a roast. And so when they bought the roast, the young lady or the cook, cut both ends of it off and then put it in the pot. And so she had her friends were in the kitchen with her, and they were like, "Well, why do you do that?" And she's like, "You know what? I don't know. I just always saw my mom do it, so that's how I did it." And so, of course, it was a family gathering, so her mom was there, and she said, "Let's call her in the kitchen and ask her," right? And so she called her mother in the kitchen, and her mom was like, "You know what? I don't know. I always saw my mom cut the ends off before she put it in the pan to cook. So I don't know. But you know what? She's here. It's a family gathering. Let's go ask her." And so they called the grandmother into the kitchen. So you have three generations in the kitchen, right? And so they called the grandmother in the kitchen. They said, "Well, hey, why do you cut the ends off of the roast before you put it in the pot to cut it?" And so the grandmother responds, "Because the pot was small." What? So they have been cutting the ends of the roast off for all of these years because the pot was small, and it became a family tradition, and nobody knows where it started. And unfortunately, that happens to a lot of us where we're doing things and we don't know exactly why we're doing it or where we got it from. And so that's what my challenge is for you today. I'm going to challenge each and every one of you to figure out exactly why you do what you do and what do you actually believe in. Do you believe in it because somebody told you to believe in it, or do you believe in it because it's something that you would be 10 toes down on? So that is my question for you today. And we are here on episode 41 of Faith in Politics. It is back to the basics. And we have some fun back to the basics, or I don't even know if you're going to think this is fun, with regard to our city stuff. We hit our faith stuff. So my question of the day, my challenge for each and every one of you is, of course, what do you believe in and why do you believe in it? Is it something that you actually believe in, or is it something that somebody told you to believe in? So I want y'all to figure that out by the end of the year. And if it's not what it is, then I want y'all to fix it. And so we're going to jump into a little bit of city business right now. And I got these articles off of NOLA.com and Verite News if you want to go back there and source it. And so this is information regarding our road work and our electric grid. So if a couple days ago, I posted an update on the roadwork project, and it has a ridiculous amount of shares because it is clearly the hot topic in the city of New Orleans right now, because we really thought that these that road work was going to be a number one priority for the new administration. Now, of course, we know that we have all of these deficits now, but she had promised us 100 new workers for public works. Well, that is not going to happen. And this is crazy because it's even before she takes office. So let me just stop talking. I'm going to give you all the update. So New Orleans is preparing to halt. Did I stutter? Y'all know what the streets look like in the city of New Orleans right now, right? Half of them are busted up. And I'm sure in your neighborhood where you have to like walk around, a half a block or somebody like that, we see it all over the news, people who maybe have a disability and they can't get to their front doors, with ease. And so New Orleans is preparing to halt many road construction projects as of December 31st deadline. And what's today? December 16th. So yes, the deadline is approaching. So I don't know what's going on with FEMA in our current administration and our administration coming in, but we shall see. So road construction projects will be halted, or look like they will be halted on December 31st, as the deadline approaches, to spend a 1.7 billion with a B FEMA funded grant tied to Hurricane Katrina recovery. Y'all know how long ago that was, and we can't just like pave a street. Oh, Lord, help us. And I really mean that sincerely. Without another deadline extension from FEMA, the city could lose up to $500 million, forcing stop work orders and leaving dozens of streets partially torn up when the new administration takes office. The road program, launched under former Mayor Mitch Landrieu and inherited by Mayor Latoya Cantrell, has completed more than half of roughly 200 projects, but is now about 1 billion with the B over budget due to inflation, delays, design changes, and inefficiencies. FEMA's uncertainty amid leadership turnover and federal downsizing, because remember, the government had to shut down for a while, so they're behind too, has slowed funding decisions, while the state has limited how much money the city can advance given the short time left to spend it. Residents and business owners are frustrated as construction zones linger for months, affecting access, safety, and livelihoods, especially for people with disabilities. Some projects recently broke ground without, like, why would they do this? Okay, anyway. Some projects recently broke ground without guaranteed funding to finish. Why would you do that? But anyway, so the city officials say that the roads program did not cause the city's current budget deficit, but without FEMA action soon, the future of many projects remains uncertain, leaving neighborhoods stuck in limbo. So when are the streets getting fixed? We have no idea. Like nobody in city government has an idea. Like legit, they don't have an idea. And I know a lot of people have had, like, I've had DMs and comments about this, y'all. I don't even know what to say about it. I really don't, because I feel like I'm just a hater. But like, we have so much going on and no one is taking accountability. Everybody is pointing a finger that they had no idea what was going on. But I'm like, well, what were you doing? What were you doing? So that is our roadwork update. I'm about to give you an update on our electrical grid. The climate change and resilience and sustainability committee had a meeting today, and it is now there's gonna be a vote on this, and it goes before the full council on this Thursday. So this is an update on the New Orleans electrical grid. Y'all know we've been having a lot of power outages and things like that, and so this is information that a lot of people are interested in. So the city council is considering a $30 million investment to create a virtual power grid using battery systems in homes, businesses, churches, and nonprofits to keep the lights on during outages and reduce strain on the grid during peak demand. So this program would fund batteries for 1,500 homes and 300 community buildings throughout the city of New Orleans. This would allow solar-powered homes to work even when the grid goes down. And this cost would be nothing to ratepayers. That's what they're saying. And it will be funded by an Entergy settlement. Reserve 40%, and they're looking to reserve 40% of the funding for low-income households. So hopefully they do that. They say that, but I like to see that inked in the contract, because if it's not inked in the contract, y'all already know. And finally, they are looking to help prevent life-threatening outages like those after Hurricane Ida, when you had so many of our elderly residents really have heat strokes and pass away due to the heat. And they're saying that this energy resilience isn't just about sustainability, it's about saving lives. And so a lot of us know, clearly what happened during Katrina and then Ida with the power outages, because so many people gave a lot of attention to Katrina because, the water came in, but it's crazy because Ida was like another Katrina. It was just electrical for us. And so it was just as devastating, and just as in that same way where, you didn't have, no, I should not compare with the amount of people who perished. So let me not do that. But with the time that we were out, we were not expecting to be out that long, but it was due to our electrical grid failures in the city of New Orleans. And so if we did not have that, you would have had people come back sooner, and just a lot displacement. And I don't even want to go into it, because that was like it's a soft spot for me, y'all, because I had to leave after Ida. We had some damage to the back of the house, couldn't fix it, didn't have electricity. It was just a lot. And so we spent my son's senior year out of town in Atlanta due to that. So it is a soft spot for me. And so I just hope that they get it together for everybody in the city, because we can't deal with it anymore. We're just tired. Aren't y'all tired? I'm tired. I'm tired, New Orleans. We're talking about a road update, a road work update, and we thought it was going to be like great. We're like, everybody's thinking they're getting a new administration, but they're like, nope, it's going to be just as bad as the last one, financially. And then it's like, the electrical grid. I'm like, hopefully they do it. And then they're talking about the sewage and water board. So We have so many irons in the fire. Hopefully, some of them pay off for us and we can get a little respite because I know y'all tired. I'm tired. Aren't y'all tired? Yeah, I'm tired. So, we're about to roll into segment three really quickly because this is, we're talking about the new administration. We were promised something in election season. Okay, actually, before this is going into segment three, and the segment three is about the understaffing at Public Works. And so, if y'all clearly remember during election season, I mean, I know you remember the television ads. We're going to have 100 new workers on the street. I'm putting 100 workers on the street in road work, and we're going to take all of this down. Well, we just found out road work is going to be halted possibly by December 31st if FEMA doesn't give us an extension. So that's one problem. And then this is going to be our second problem with regard to that. So let me just hit it because it's the medicine just goes down easier, I guess, if I just throw it at you. So despite campaign promises, Mayor-elect Moreno budget leaves Public Works short-staffed. So if you all have been paying attention or not paying attention, I'm going to update you really quickly to the New Orleans budget situation. We were in a $160 million deficit for 2025. That does not include 2026, and a $222 million deficit for 2026, which is a big problem. So when the Mayor-elect Moreno created her budget and they passed it on December 1st, the mayor vetoed it. And so it's going to take the city council can override the veto of the mayor with a 2/3 vote. So that means 5 out of 7 members have to override the veto of the mayor, and then the budget can move forward. But in the budget that Mayor-elect Moreno put out there, the Public Works is underfunded and understaffed and is going to stay that way per what she delivered. And so it's just crazy because, at least to me, and everybody can have their own opinion, because, of course, our public safety is our police department, our fire, EMS, Homeland Security, and things like that must be staffed. But you can also adjust. And we have been giving the NOPD, this is just my opinion, lots of money for lots of years. And we see what's been happening for the past couple years. Not that we don't love our NOPD officers, but they have put us in a very uncomfortable, their leadership, not the rank and file. We love our rank and file. Their leadership have put us in a very bad situation for the past couple years, and put a hole in the deficit. And so to continue to be giving these agencies more money and not funding our roads when every resident is like, please fund the roads. And I'm not saying it was going to be fully funded, but not to this level. Let me just read it, y'all, because you'll see what I'm saying in a second. So I did a little summary. Oh, geez. So despite campaign promises, Moreno budget leaves Public Works short-staffed. Mayor-elect Moreno campaigned on fixing New Orleans' broken streets and restoring basic city services, including a pledge to hire 100 new maintenance workers. But her proposed $1.6 billion 2026 city budget shows no staffing increase for Public Works and includes a 29% cut to the department overall. Moreno's team says the reduction reflects moving parking enforcement to NOPD, not cuts to maintenance, but the budget still adds to no new Public Works employees, even as the department remains severely understaffed. So that means that money that was going there is now going to NOPD. Yeah, y'all caught that. I'm going to repeat that again just for you. Moreno's team says the reduction reflects moving parking enforcement to NOPD, not cuts to maintenance, but the budget still adds no new Public Works employees, even as the department remains severely understaffed. Now, what did she get reelected on? Hiring 100 new people. Okay. New Orleans infrastructure struggles are well documented. It takes nearly a year to fill a pothole after resident request. Yes, 1 year. Potholes filled annually have dropped 35% over the last decade. Streetlight repairs have fallen 84%. The city now has one pothole crew for more than 1,500 miles of streets in the city of New Orleans. Public Works Director Rick Hathaway has said the city needs around 200 maintenance workers, roughly 10 times the current level. While some departments, including police, fire, EMS, sanitation, and safety and permits, saw funding increases or stability, Public Works did not. Moreno acknowledged her promise to hire workers, but said she plans to do so gradually by reducing reliance on contractors without offering a timeline. So she said nothing. Meanwhile, New Orleans collects tens of millions of dollars annually from street related revenues such as parking tickets, meters, towing, and booting. I know everybody knows a little bit about one of those. Yet none of that money is dedicated to street maintenance. In 2024 alone, parking enforcement generated over $15 million. While the entire Public Works General Fund for 2026 is under $20 million. And so if y'all didn't know, they are trying to, not they, Helene Moreno's administration is trying to add 50 new jobs. Guess what the new jobs are for, though? Parking enforcement agents. I'm not kidding. I digress. The Bureau of Governmental Research, the BGR, has long urged the city to dedicate street-generated revenue directly to street maintenance. What a crazy idea. Calling it a fair and sustainable solution, one the city has still not adopted. So they've had government agencies, suggest that they, do right by citizens, and they're still not doing it. And so, bottom line, despite strong rhetoric about fixing city services, Moreno's first proposed budget leaves public works understaffed, underfunded, and without a clear path to delivering the infrastructure improvements she promised voters. So I just want to put this out there, and I wanted to really kind of know your thoughts, because a lot of people don't even know that these things are happening right now. And my point is, we need to bring it to the forefront, or we're just going to deal with it. Because if you don't say anything during election season, which just happened and over, they're never going to listen to you. And so now we have the transition period where, they still are in good graces with a certain amount of people. And in my opinion, the public still has a little play right now, because you're going from one administration to the next. The new administration hasn't taken office, but they haven't taken office and they're already backtracking on their campaign promises. And so how can we believe you? We, when Cantrell went in office, and I'll tell you something that, I was social media manager, and there was a lot of people who were upset about it. The mayor got elected, in my opinion. One of the things was because she promised to get rid of the cameras, the speed cameras, remember? I think everybody remembers that. The mayor was like, we're going to get rid of the speed cameras. Everyone was like, yes, that sounds great. We're voting for you. She got in office, and do we have speed cameras? 8 years later. Okay, bet. And so now we had the next campaign election go around, and then we had the winner say, hey, New Orleans, I'm going to give you 100 new public works officers. She hasn't even taken office yet, and she is already reeling back the campaign promise. So I don't know if y'all see a pattern here, but I do. And so I truly believe that this is something that you were going to do now. That's a conversation that you should have had with the public, because you were just as public when you were campaigning on 100 new public works employees, and we're not getting one. Actually, are they part of the group that are getting furloughed? Right. We have approximately 700 workers who will be furloughed once a pay period in the city of New Orleans. So will that include Will that include a public works? I don't know, because I know it's not including any of our, EMS, fire, or police or anything like that. But so I just wanted to put that on your mind. I wanted you to know what was going on around the city. So those are updates on road work. That's upgrades on our electrical grid, and that's update on our public works and our administration and what's going on in the city of New Orleans. And I have two more segments left for you really quickly. And I think this is one you will really enjoy. So if you have a small business, if you're interested in starting a small business, I don't know, some of you know or some of you don't know, but Faith in Politics is a branch off of my business. My business is Carter Business Development. And so last Tuesday, I was talking about economic development in the city of New Orleans, clearly because it's near and dear to my heart. And so when I was running for mayor, I'd like to do my research, and so economic development is clearly a committee that the city council has. It's one of their committees, and so I went back to look at the meetings because I'm like, what is going on with economic development in the city of New Orleans? So when I looked at that point in time during the election before election day, economic development had missed 9 meetings in 2025. I was like, how do you cancel 9 economic development meetings? Like, you don't have any economic development conversation to have about the city of New Orleans? Like, there's nothing going on that you don't even need a meeting? Well, apparently not. And so recently, what was it, last week, I said, well, let's dig a little deeper. So I'm one of those people. I did communications for the city of New Orleans, so I can research something when I need to. So long story short, I went online and I went on council.nola.gov so y'all can find all this information yourselves. And I went to a meeting. I went to committees, and you can do this yourself too. I went to committees, and then I chose the Economic Development Committee. Helena Moreno is the chair of that committee, and since 2018, 40 was it? Yeah, wait, let me look it up to be specific. 40% of the that yeah, thank you. 40% of the all of the meetings had been canceled, and it was kind of really balanced because it was 40 out of 99 meetings. So from November 2018 to date, there have been 99 scheduled economic development meetings for the city of New Orleans on the city council. 40 of those meetings were canceled. Y'all ain't got nothing to talk about? Ain't got nothing going on? Apparently not. And so when I found that out, I was like, well, that's the reason the economic development in the city sucks. And that's the reason why our small businesses aren't getting enough attention. And so I was like, okay, well, if they're not going to give the attention, then I am. And so I'm starting to create some small business tips and outreach tools that I will be offering here. Some of them I'll give for free, and some of them I'll be working with one-on-one with clients on. But I wanted to really just kind of let y'all know what I was doing. So if you missed the last show on Thursday, you may want to go check it out. It is episode 40. It is applying for your SLDBE certification. I literally took the whole hour and broke down how to get certified, what is required for each thing. I know a lot of the things are very tedious, but it's your business. And so it's not always the most fun information, but it's the information that you need. And so when you get your back office in order, and that means like all your paperwork together, like life just becomes so much easier. Like it really does. You can get your certification, you can get easier grants, you can get just easier loans from the bank, partnerships from businesses. There's so many things that you can do. But when you have that paperwork at the tip of your fingers and somebody asks for it, it really changes the game. And so I want to make sure that people have that opportunity and that understanding. And so with that, I will be doing some small business development tips for you all. So let me read a little bit of it. So I will be dividing some practical tools and strategies for small business owners in New Orleans, covering everything from starting a business to branding, social media, and closing the deal. So I will have different shows on these topics, so I can make sure that you all get some good information. Like I've said before, small businesses are near and dear to my heart. I grew up in a family of small businesses and working a small business literally all my life. My dad had his own business. My mom had her own small business, and so it was just something we did. My mom always had a small business. My mom had a tour company. She had a travel agency, and she had we had Sunglass Hut at the airport, and so we've had a lot of small businesses in our family. And so when you don't know how to get contracts or RFPs, or the processes are certified, you don't want to put yourself in a position, to not have what you need. I think that's really the worst thing you can do for a business, is to give them something that they cannot handle at a certain time. You need to move up incrementally. I know everybody like wants the big deal, but you may not be prepared for the big deal. And so a lot of business owners may get uncomfortable if I say that, but it's truth. I would rather you grow in increments than to get something, a contract that you can't handle, and then you get a bad name in the industry. And so there's just some stuff that I know from being in this lane for so long, and I would love to share those things with you all. And so we're going to be starting from the beginning, about starting a business. It's not just about an idea. It's about laying the right foundation, from legal registration and back office systems to preparing for funding and certifications, getting organized upfront, save headaches down the line. Think of it as your roadmap to growth. Know your paperwork, your structure, and your resources. And that's what I mean about getting your back office in order, because when you have all those pieces, it's seamless, and it really is a headache that you can just never have. Because when that one person wants to give you a deal and they ask you for your financials and you don't have them, you're like, what am I going to do? I got to go run home and make it. Like, you don't want to be in that situation. Many people that I know have been in that situation, and we're just going to prepare so you are just ready and go. You're like, oh, I can pull that out because I have a file. Just to give you an example, I was working with this nonprofit, and so I have put all of their basic information, like uh, their articles of incorporation, their bio, their financials, their board list, all those things that the grant program needs. I put it like in a zip file folder for them. So if he has to go anywhere, he just pulls up his zip folder of information, and he's just like, oh, this is it. Oh, this is it. I'm like, this is your bio. This is your resume. This is whatever. But all of that is in one spot, and we've worked that together. And he's like, it has really changed his life because he never has to think about it. And so when you do it once, and yes, it may be a little time consuming, it can really change your life and your business for the better, though. And you'll just walk around more confident. Trust me. And so the next part about like your business that you would need to, in my opinion, a lot of small businesses really need to brush up on is like telling their story. Like, why do you do what you do? And there was this other small business that recently called me, and I asked, well, what do you do and why? And so they had a little struggle explaining it to me. And I was like, well, do you have an elevator pitch? And he was like, well, no, not really. But, it's something I know that I need and I need to work on. I was like, oh, actually, when I was at WBOK, I helped with their small business workshops. And I had created some informationals with regard to developing your elevator pitch. And so I'm going to do that as well on here. But that is something that each and every small business should think about and should develop. And it should be just it should be an ever evolving process. So a strong elevator pitch, whether 10, 30, or 60 seconds or more, is essential. It's how you articulate what your business does, who you serve, and why it matters. Your pitch should be adaptable, tailored to investors, partners, or networking events. Confidence and clarity here are your first step to creating meaningful connections. It really, unfortunately, these days we have a very short attention span due to commercials and watching TV and things of that nature. But you really do have like 8 seconds to get someone's attention. And so in those 8 sections, what are you going to deliver? You need to deliver your why you do what, the who, what, when, where, and why. And you need to have a wow factor. So when you do your elevator pitch, your elevator speech, or whatever you want, whatever you call it, you really need to make sure it's impactful and people want to know what they're getting out of it. And also this is another thing that I feel like sometimes people, or small businesses, I should say, maybe mix up. They mix up closing the deal and the elevator pitch, because your elevator pitch should lead the person to want more information. It should lead them to an action with you, a meeting, a program, something scheduled with you next steps. Whereas closing the deal is closing the deal, like sign it on the line, show me the money, like whatever the situation is. that's where we need to go. And so don't get those mixed up, because a lot of times when you're trying to close the deal during an elevator pitch, you don't even have to do that, because you're just doing too much at that point. And then people feel overwhelmed, like, oh, I don't want to do business with them. They just doing too much. They feel very pushy. And so we really need to kind of separate those. You need your elevator pitch and your closing deal are two different things. There might be certain things that you intertwine with them, but they're two different pitches, and you need to be confident in each one of those. And so I throw that out there as well. And then social media. Well, clearly we're on it right now, but when I started out, social media was not a big thing. That's crazy, but it is now. But social media is one of the free ways to advertise your business. And so social media is another essential tool. So we want to focus on platforms that reach your audience. And of course, a lot of people were here on Instagram and TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. Yelp, if you have a restaurant or something like that where you have customers that come in and out, you might want to be on Yelp or something like that. Those are just some examples, but there are many, many more. So you want to look at your top free options for local businesses and where are residents going to look for their information. And you do not have to be on every platform. You don't. You need to be where your audience is. And that's another thing. Do you know who your audience is? Everybody doesn't buy everything. And if you have like a niche type of service, then you need to focus on those customers and find out where they get their information. What organizations are they generally in? Like, say you do running shoes. Like, I'm gonna give you an example. Like a runner, is not always going to be, if they have a very healthy lifestyle, you might find more, you might do better advertising at all the Smoothie Kings in the city of New Orleans, going to Smoothie King and asking if you can partner and you can put your information by their register. That may be that may be an advertisement, and you may not have even thought about that, but that's what I do in business development. And so, but I'm just here to give you ideas on ways you can partner with businesses or go to where your audience is. And it might not even be something that is so cumbersome monetarily for you, because like, say, the Smoothie King owner, because they are individually, owned, right? And so you did a deal where, like, say you sold tennis shoes where you're like, I'll give you a free pair of tennis shoes if you give me free space for 6 months or 3 months or whatever the deal is. Y'all can work whatever it out. But my point is, there are deals to be made, and people are more willing to do those things for you when you know what you're talking about. And that's why your elevator pitch and your your closing deals are so important. So today, I'm just throwing out some business development ideas because I had so many people really respond to those. And so I wanted to make sure I was just giving you, what you asked for, y'all. And so another thing that you can do is of course, share content. And I saw this post and it made me laugh, but I was like, you have more people, strangers who are now become family off of social media than you do family and friends, because your family and friends don't support you. And that's truth. You're going to be looking to your family and friends to support you. I'm not saying, everybody's family is different, but most people do not have that same support when they do their businesses. And so don't fall back on that, but also don't get stuck in any naysaying. You know what you're doing, and why you're doing it. And so put one foot in front of the other. And I just want to encourage you all to keep, to stay strong. Share content that resonates. You want to give people something that they need. When you find a need and you connect to it, it can literally change everything. You want to link your accounts together if you can. Certain people, it depends on exactly what your business is, because you may not want the same post to go to everywhere. So I would say, and there are a couple platforms that will actually create rotating information sources for you. Let me just give you an example. When I was social media manager at the city of New Orleans, of course, I think we had like 16, 17 platforms at that point that I was overseeing. Crazy. But it was the truth. And my girl in Roadwork at the time, I'm not giving everybody's names, but my girl in Roadwork, I was like asking everybody, I was like, if there's any social media tools or anything that you like or works very well for you that could help, another department, please let me know. And so one of our comms agents offered, it's a platform called Meet Edgar. I don't even know if they still exist, but I'm sure, they've evolved into something else they don't. It was called Meet Edgar, and you could put your information in there, and they would different types of information, and what the platform would do would create a different post and separate them out and schedule them for different days. So say in one day you put something like, say you have a restaurant, you talked about like a Thursday special, you talked about the fresh ingredients, and then you had a customer testimonial, right? And so one day you put the information in there and you press enter, and it would break all of that information down into three separate posts for the days and schedule it in the app. So that's all you had to do was like put the information in there once. So that was something that we found that was a great tool that was very easy for us. And it really helped because when you're dealing with so much information to the city, like sometimes just like, I can't think of another post, Lord help me. And so that was a tool. And so I really encourage you to talk to your friends and family or somebody who's on social media who you think that they're doing a good job. Give them, a shout out and say like, what inspired you, or what tools do you use? Because it may be something that could help you. So don't put yourself in a box. Use the tools. I mean, of course, today we have AI and everything else. So use the tools that are at your fingertips, especially as a small business owner, because those tools can save you a lot of time. And now, see, this is near and dear to my heart. And that's when I wrote this, I was like, yeah. But your social media manager is your first line of defense. Make sure that they're personable and engaging. And so I can give you a couple of platforms in the city of New Orleans that as social media manager would really like crack me up. Like Pete's Irish, was it Pete's Irish Channel? It's a bar uptown. When I tell you, they have some hilarious posts. I love their posts. I've never met these people in person. I have always just known them off of social media just because of their posts. Bromart is another one. So I don't know if y'all follow Bromart, but they're hilarious too. They're clearly a grocery store, but the grocery store is funny. And so it's really important that you set the tone of what type of platform you're going to have, because certain businesses are just straight, business. Like, this is what we're going to do it. But you also have to know people are on social media to sometimes take a break. They want something that's out of the ordinary. So what are you doing that's different than somebody else that's going to deliver a different outcome? They could go to any attorney's office, but they want an attorney who's relatable. So I don't know if y'all have been watching, but some of the attorneys in New Orleans have been having a dance off online. And so I thought that was kind of interesting and funny as well. So you can always kind of tap into your market with what you connect with, because clearly in New Orleans we do a lot of dancing, we do a lot of second lining, and we enjoy that type of stuff. So seeing the attorneys in New Orleans and Louisiana right now doing a little dance off is hilarious to me. And of course, branding and collateral. And if you don't know what your collateral is, your collateral is like your pamphlets, your business cards, your pamphlets, your handouts. It can even be like your website and things of that nature, because we have so many things that are online right now. So it really depends on what type of business and what type of collateral you would have. But the collateral and your branding, it is so important that it matches from what you're handing out to what you see online, or to, I don't know if you're doing commercials or radio, but that's also something to think about. May not be something you're doing today, like, oh, that costs a lot of money, but it may be cheaper than you think, to maybe get an interview on the radio or to do some radio ads and on the different stations and things like that. And they have a lot of podcasters right now. So that's also a great idea for small businesses. If you want to get your small business out there, you may want to sponsor a podcast. Maybe you can't sponsor the whole show, but you could say, hey, can I sponsor a segment, or can I sponsor just this one show? I can't do it, for a month, or I can't do it, long term, but what does it look like if I asked to do some product placement? Maybe you do smoothies, and you had the podcaster drinking your smoothies during every show. So before every show, you went and brought them a drink. Like, it doesn't take that much or that much money to give them a drink, but that could be your product placement. So there are different ways that you can get your products placed in different things. You just really need to kind of think out the box. And so many times we're just like overwhelmed with day-to-day things that you just don't think about it. So that's what I'm here to do, kind of just put some stuff on your brain right now, and hopefully get your business wheels spinning for this new year. And with your collateral, is your messaging clear? It's funny because I am long-winded at times. Coming from radio and being able to deliver an hour monologue, is definitely a skill, but it's also a skill to be able to downsize. So I've been able to deliver an hour monologue, but as the social media manager of the city of New Orleans, I had to take a 5 page summary of whatever and summarize it into an Instagram post. So you also need to be able to take a large amount of information of what you do and deliver a clear and concise message. So you want to take time to review your logo. What does your logo look like? Should it be updated? Do you have a logo? What do people know you as? What does that actually look like? Your website, does your website reflect what's going on your social media? Do you have them connected? Because of course these days you can have them connected, so what you put on your social media should show up immediately on your website and make your life easier. Your marketing items, your mission, your values, are they all matching on every platform? And are you actually living those values that you speak? So I would offer each and every small business to take the time and review and refine, because a strong, authentic brand drives loyalty and attracts the right customers. And again, when you have a loyal customer, y'all, a loyal customer is invaluable because they're going to share your information with the people around them. And like I said, they may become more of a friend than your family members at some point. And then this kind of goes back to how I started the beginning of the show when I said, "What is your why? Why do you believe the things that you do?" We were talking about faith and things of that nature. But even as a small business owner or a medium or large size business owner, or if you're thinking about starting a business, like why? People buy the why. Because think about Apple items. Why do people buy Apple items? It's not even about the phone anymore. It's they want to be a part of the club. That's why people buy Apple. They don't want to be last. They want to be a part of the club. They want to, I'm the first with it. I got to be this. I got to be that. People want to be a part of something. They have created this Apple family. You have to have the iPhone. You have to have the watch. You have to have the iPad. You have to have the AirPods. You have to have everything Apple that attaches to everything else, because they've created a family of items and you want to be a part of the family. And so Apple has done an amazing job with that, because they don't have to sell anything anymore, right? You just want it because it's Apple. It's a new Apple product. And so that's what you want to get your product or your industry to. You just want to have it because, number one, they know it's going to be a good product coming from Apple, but it's also kind of the hot item. It's the hot thing to do, right? And so when you look at your industry, your items, your customers, why are you doing what you're doing, and why should they connect to what you're doing, and how is it going to help them? What sets the purpose-driven business apart from the next company? Because they have more than one phone company, right? But why that one? It's because they want to be a part of something. And so finally, again, I said this a little bit earlier about the difference between the elevator pitch and the market and the closing the deal. The closing the deal is just that, closing the deal. In your elevator pitch, you're trying to get them to do another action item. You're trying to reel them in. Closing, you're not trying to reel anything in. You're trying to finish the deal. You're trying to close it and build a new partnership. So you want to be personable, articulate your vision, and always have a clear next step. And you want to research your potential partners. Like I was talking earlier, if you have, shoe store and you're looking for runners or things of that nature, Smoothie King or all the smoothie bars in the city of New Orleans. Research your potential partners, your local organizations. Like they have Idea Village, they have NOLA BA, Propeller, they have statewide groups like the Louisiana Economic Development, federal resources like SBA, the MBDA. I don't even know if y'all know that one, but a lot of those technical resources can help you scale up. But of course, there's also me, Carter Business Development. But one thing you must do, and people don't even think, I'm not saying you don't think about it, but the quicker you do it, the quicker it helps. Follow up. When you meet somebody, and I used to be really good at this. I haven't really done it. I shouldn't say I haven't done it in a while, because I had to do it during election season. It was just overkill during election season. But when I meet someone at any networking event, and that's also something we need to talk about, networking, because everybody doesn't know how to network. But that's a whole nother conversation. We might have a show on networking, might do a whole segment on that. But when following up, so when I would meet somebody at an event, before they got to the car, before I got to the car, I would send them an email with, "Oh, it was nice meeting you at A, B, and C." Like, say we met at a, I don't know, a propeller event, right? Okay. So it was nice meeting you at the propeller event and discussing A, B, and C. We can circle back with A, B, and C, talk soon. So you're responding saying, "Hey, I saw you. It was nice to meet you," reminding them where they met you, and then connecting your collateral. We were talking about that, your handouts, your one pagers, those things that you need to create, and connecting your one pager to the email or to the text message or however that you all decided that you were going to follow up. But doing that, so by the time they leave the event and get to their car and getting back to their office, they're looking at their phone and they've already had a response from you. Well, that's what you want. You want to be one of the first people in their memory, on the top of their minds when they get back, so that they're like, "Oh yeah." Because guess what? That's the type of person I want to do business with. The person who's quick, the person who pays attention, and the person who is going to get the job done. And so that's just a little quick tip. I know some people do it, some people don't, but it really can change the game for you. So follow up, follow up, follow up. And the overarching lesson from all of this kind of business development 2 cents is strategy, clarity, and purpose are the pillars of business success. So whether you're starting out, building your brand, growing your online presence, or closing your next big deal, aligning your actions with your values and audience makes all the difference. So for all of my listeners today, if you're ready to take action, I do offer workshops, coaching, and consulting. I'm actually meeting with a new business person tomorrow. I'm kind of excited about that. They're a young business, and I just love my young entrepreneurs. And remember your why. Remember why you started, because so many times we get overwhelmed, overworked, and you just like, "Oh, I'm tired." You have stuff coming from every way. You have bills, you have payroll, or whatever the case may be. If you're single, it's a single company. If you're a small LLC, you may just be looking for your next opportunity or contracting opportunity. And that's another thing. When you are a small business, having the next opportunity available so your funds come regularly is also something. So you want to make sure that you get on all of the email list, so that the emails start coming to you, and so you do a lot less of that legwork. And of course, you're going to have to go through them and make sure that the deals work for you. But it really helps if you can take a day and research a lot of the organizations and get on their mailing list. And here's also a tip: create a separate email for that. If you have the ability to create another email in your business, for all like an opportunity at blah 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 blah, or whatever it is, or make a Gmail account for your business, and use that same email for all of the RFPs, from the federal level, from the state level, from the city level, and from all of the organizations in the city, in wherever your area is. And so that one email is going to be all opportunities. So that's another little random trick that I learned that is very helpful, because a lot of that will start to clutter your emails, and sometimes you miss stuff because you just don't see it. But if everything is in one area or one spot, then it's a lot easier to find. And when you're in that business mode, you can just go to that email and just look at contracts or RFPs or opportunities one by one. So that's all I got with our actionable tips for entrepreneurs today. I just wanted to kind of let y'all know what I've been thinking about, because I think I'm going to be doing some workshops on these specific items, because I've had a lot of people ask me about them. And so I did a lot of that in business development right before I went to the mayor's office. And so I'm going to be getting back into some more hands-on small business one-on-ones. Like I said, I'd worked on the governmental level in some large platforms for a while, but the small businesses really need help in the city of New Orleans. I do not believe that they've had a lot of attention. And when our small businesses are stronger, the city is just going to thrive. Uh, we are y'all, we have just been not just underfunded, but underrecognized for all the things that we do. The people of the city of New Orleans are really what keep us running, and we really need to do better by our people. And so hopefully this will be one of the things that help our city. And so last but not least, it is a free book giveaway right here. Mr. Bailey sponsored a book. And so if you would like to sponsor a book giveaway, you can do that by sending a cash app to Faith in Politics. That's at Faith in Politics. You'll see the little purple right here. And just send in your donation. It's $15 a book. And we will do giveaways. Not everybody can afford it, but this is definitely information they need. I'm giving the PDF away for free. So if you're follow me on Instagram at Eileen Carter, at Eileen_Carter. You can go right in my bio link and you can hit it and it says free PDF of the book. I give you all of this information for free. I am one of those people who I like to hold the book and put it in my hand. And so I do believe that it's something that you should share with your family and friends. It'll be a great gift for the holidays if that's something you're interested in. So I'm going to give away the book, but I'm going to ask a question really quickly, a little civics questions for you. So I got 4 platforms going on, so I got to look on each one to see if anyone has the answer. So my question today is, we're going to ask about the city council, responsibilities of the city council. So, is the city council responsible for creating and modifying departments in the city, or are they responsible for an advisory and investigative role in the city of New Orleans? I'm going to ask it again. Is the city council and is the city council in New Orleans their legislative authority? Is it to create and modify departments in the city of New Orleans, or is it an advisory and investigative role? Which one is it? Right. Both. You are absolutely right. Just put your information in the DM and I will give it to, and I will send you the book. So make sure that you send your information right there. Yes, right there on YouTube. Thank you so much for your answer. It is both. Yes, it is both. So the question was, is the city council of New Orleans, what is their legislative authority? And their legislative authority. So sorry, y'all. I didn't mean to give you a little get you a little out of order there, but yes, I was a little bit sly on that when I said, was it this or this? But the answer is both. So I'm going to give you the answer. The legislative authority for the city council and city of New Orleans, they have the creating and modifying departments or agencies. The city council has the power to create, modify, or eliminate city departments or commissions through legislation. If a new department or office is required, or if an existing one needs reorganization or restructuring, the council can enact legislation to make these changes. For example, the council may pass laws establishing new agencies to address emerging issues like public health, homelessness, or economic development. And I say all of this is important right now because they are revamping our safety and permits office. And actually, I personally believe our public works needs a lot of adjusting and attention too, because as y'all know, they've connected it with the sewage and water board. They've disconnected it with the sewage and water board. They've connected it with the sewage and water board. They've disconnected with the sewage and water board. Now they're taking parking out of public works, and now they've given it to NOPD. And so I believe public works needs some love. And so if this past city council didn't do it, maybe our new city council that's coming in will give our public works a little bit more structure and love. So we shall see. But the both. So advisory and legislative role. Yes, the city council has advisory and legislative control, plays an investigative role in the city of New Orleans. The city council has an advisory and investigative function that allows it to investigate how city departments, offices, boards, and commissions are operating. This includes reviewing the performance of these entities, identifying issues, and proposing corrective measures or policy changes. Council members may initiate investigations into areas of concern or hold special hearings to gather public input and expert testimony on the performance of various governmental bodies. Yes, so I'm going to leave that information right where it is. And so when you get the book, those questions and answers are on page 16 of Faith in Politics. So I want to tell you thank you for everyone who joined today. I appreciate you. I'm going to get you your book, so make sure you DM me, please, with your information so I can get it to you as soon as possible and we can connect. And if you have a small business or you're interested in any business development or any growth or just I don't know, you just need some help. Let's have a conversation. Let's see what we can do, and let's see how we can turn this economy in the city of New Orleans, because we need each and every one of you. Whether you work for a small business or you own one, you are important. We love you. We need you in the city of New Orleans. We've had so many of our small businesses close and leave. It's just a problem at this point. So before I'm out, I want to remind you that if you've missed a show, you can go back and find me on Apple, YouTube, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon Music, Podbean, Player FM, Listen Notes, Podchaser, and Boomplay. And if you're looking to be certified in the DBE, and your DBE is free on the state and local level, I would definitely do it through my state agencies and then get reciprocity with the city of New Orleans. That means that basically they would accept your paperwork, in short, and so you would only have to go through the process once. That is my recommendation, having seen how these processes work. If you wanted to get your MBE certification, that's Minority Business Enterprise, or if you wanted to get your WBE, that's your women-owned business, those do have fees attached to them. Those are in conjunction with corporations. So your DBE is to do business with the governmental agencies, and the MBE and the WBE is to do business with corporations. So all of these do have certifications that they require to do certain levels of business with them, so they can get their credit from the federal government. And so since they have to follow the rules, I encourage you to get the rules, get in the game, and so that we can just create a stronger New Orleans together. So thanks so much for tuning in to Faith and Politics with me, Eileen. We had a great show today. You can catch me here every Tuesday and Thursday. Again, we talk about faith and politics, and I do give business development and small business tips. So thank you for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you next time. Bye. Bye, y'all. Bye, y'all. And last but not least, bye, y'all. See you later, YouTube. See you later, Podbean. Appreciate y'all.